Is Mr. Beast a success? I would say no. The top person on YouTube in the celebrity marketing industry has not succeeded in business. That should be a warning sign. And if you think about a curve, just a curve like this, X and Y axis, it's more complex than this because it's more holographic than mapped on a grid like this. That's reality is more holographic. It's more complex but simple, but you can't visualize it on a grid really well. So I'm thinking, think about it holographically too, because the market plots out in lots of different ways. But I'll just keep it simple on a grid because it's easier to talk about it. And who's at the top? So you got the y-axis up. That's exponential growth and then logarithmic acceleration in the market. So who's at the top? Mr. Beast. What else was at the top? The Squatty Potty. I read a book called The YouTube Formula. It's a good book. But it doesn't lead to a real business or a good product or a stable outcome. It does not. And it's part of it potentially. So traffic acquisition is an important component of business. It's called the marketing function. It's not the business though. The Squatty Potty is a fad or a trend. Is it still around? Is anyone still squatting on the Squatty Potty? How many of those did they sell? Will they be selling them 10 years from now? I doubt it. It's just a product trend. When I worked in product marketing, I owned a distribution company. We saw this stuff come and go all the time. We had Joe Boxer for a while as one of our products we're selling. And I'm like, it's just a trend. It's done. We got in too late. And I didn't want to be in the trend business. I wanted to be in the high quality product business. So I wasn't looking for that stuff, but I got pitched all the time. All the time. People wanted to get in our showroom in Midwest. So, we're not a top market, but we could be 20% of the sales. And, they'd come in and they'd show me their latest thing and the celebrity attached to it. And my answer was no, thank you. Because I get a couple years of money, but they get most of the profits. It's just not worth it. And that's Mr. Beast. So you get this guy who's making all this money. It's not real money because it's going to end. It's like being a childhood star in Hollywood. You got a hit movie, it's over. Or you got a hit. Who are the pros? Entertainment industry folks. You want to do that game? You want to play that game and win? The Apprentice, Trump, they won. Mr. Beast, it's over. It's going to end. They'll cancel him, or he'll just have to get another endorsement deal. I know how these retailers work and these they don't care. They're just looking at the trend. They want to ride the trend. They're creating fast fashion trends now on TikTok. They're creating fake personas to try to manipulate these kids to buy stuff. The kids, by the time they get in high school, they're just like, they found their own taste often, and they see through it. Middle school kids, you can get them to do that. This is basic business marketing stuff. Basic. It's 101, marketing 101. Don't chase a trend. Unless that's your business. If you're in the trend business, go for it. If you want to create a reality show, Real Housewives, they've thought really hard about that. It worked. The Bachelor, long term. Mr. Beast, there's nothing there. This is the issue. So how to succeed without marketing. The online economy is rewarding this stuff, but it's not real. They're rewarding influence. Being an influencer personality is not a career path or a job. It's a product designed as a media vehicle. So that influencer has built traffic in an audience, and the marketer shows up and says, we want a piece of it and we'll give you part. We'll give you a commission. Who owns the product? So YouTube. YouTube owns the product because the product includes the audience and the personality and the data. The data is part of the product too, and the technology platform and the business structure system to pay the influencer is owned by YouTube, by Google. What is that influencer doing? They're helping Google for free build their audience keep them sticky on the platform, and give them more active data that Google can use in their ad network. That's the business model. So the influencer that's doing that is, I don't know what else to call it, but it's either you're either stupid, you don't understand, or you figured it out and you're playing a game and you know it's not real and you're saving that money. Save the money. Because, after 5 years in the NFL, it's over. Where are they going? They're going on social media, but they have a real career. Now, if you're tier two, tier three, it's getting tougher. Years ago, you could do it. There's a guy named Lifestyle Entrepreneur, Lewis Howes. He did it with a platform, but it'd be hard to do that today because it's old. It's an old model, but he's there, so he's solid. But you try to be like that now and hire, Rory and AJ Vaden to do it for you or with you. You better have an real accomplishment. You played in the NFL for 5 years, or you got a reality show concept or something. That's a real business. Um, but you're using the traffic from YouTube to do it. That's smart. It's a pro game. So how do you succeed without marketing if you're not if you're in the top 1% now, it's a different conversation. If you're trying to get in the top 1% doing this stuff, you're going to fail. Unless you have a big marketing team or 20, 30 grand a month to buy one. So how do you succeed without marketing? What is the online economy rewarding now? So the first step is to say, can I win in this game? There's 3 things you can do to win. I've seen it just look. Copywriting, sharp copywriting. If you're a really good copywriter, you got a shot at it. But your business model is the problem. A lot of those copywriters don't make consistent, stable income doing what they love. They really don't. What they do is they get a lot of traffic and activity for the platform, whether it's LinkedIn or whatever it is. Second approach, influencer personality, because the business is collapsing in a lot of ways. The content now, you can used to charge $2,000 for a course. Now you're lucky if you get $100. What does that mean? You got to be top 1%. Are you going to get there? Learning copywriting skills? No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless you have a new angle on it. And you're so good as an original creator, then you don't need a course from somebody, a how-to course. You don't need it. Who's buying the how-to courses? Beginners. And some of them can learn a lot. Don't pay a lot. Take the free stuff or the cheap stuff. $100, you'll get a little better, but that's not going to build a business for you. But it's a good skill to have. That's all it is. You're going to pay $100 for how to write course or how to be an influencer or how to succeed on LinkedIn. It's not a bad idea. Just spend a couple of weeks on it and learn the basic skills. They're not that complicated, but you got to like it. Now, we figured out a way to use ChatGPT not to do writing for people, but to train the model to know who you are, loading your data in it. And you don't need to learn how to use ChatGPT or AI. It's already done. And you don't even need to learn how to prompt it. You have to train the model and know how to use it as part of a process. We know how to do that in our group. And we're making that available to people as part of the entrepreneur content machine that we're putting out. Influencer personality. Who gets to Real Housewives? Influencer personalities. You're that person on The Bachelor that everybody hates or loves. Now you're an influencer personality. And The Bachelor, they nailed it. This is the real economy. Those are the people who are winning. Everyone else messing around on YouTube, you're small time. Those people are big time. That's real money. And they're really smart at what they do. You can't have a show on TV for 20 years and not know what you're doing. It's their job. It's their profession. This isn't your profession to become an influencer. Now you want to make 2, 3, 4 grand a month inconsistently to get yourself through school. Not a bad idea. If you're really unique, then you could do it. You put your makeup on and everyone, yeah, sure. Now some of that stuff's getting really shady. Look what's going on Instagram. It's criminal. It is criminal. It's child pornography. 20, 16-year-old kids, and most of the audience are 40, 50-year-old men. That's child pornography on a social media platform. You can do it. That's okay. Anyways, big real world success works too. If you're Michael Jordan and you meet Phil, what's his name? Phil Knight at Nike. I think it's Phil Knight. You could do something together. Hey, let's build a shoe. Influencer personality. And when I first saw Michael and he came on stage, the company I work for is big client was Gatorade. One of the clients was Gatorade, and owned by when it was owned by Quaker Oats. I don't know if it still is, but damn, man, it worked. People in that audience were like, let's go sell some more Gatorade. When I worked for Reebok, Reebok hired my distribution company to launch a new brand. And I remember Shaq, the pump me up fad didn't last. They tried. I remember it. You never heard of this, the Dan and Dave campaign. I was at the Reebok National Sales Convention. I spoke at the small one, not the big one, because we were number one in the country with sales. Who cares? I really didn't care. I wanted the money. That's what I cared about, and to not have to go to the convention meeting. But it was good that I went because I learned a lot. And I'm in the audience, and Dan and Dave come up on stage. These two Olympic athletes. They both failed in the Olympics, both of them. It was a promising idea. Reebok manufactured an influencer personality strategy and campaign because they're looking at Nike and saying, we got to be more like that. It failed. It wasn't real. And, the Reebok people were very excited. And I'm standing in the back, or sitting in the back with, my crowd. And we're just kind of like, I wonder if this will work. The answer was no. They didn't have a success yet. They were promising and had potential to succeed in the Olympics, but they hadn't done it yet. Shaq already had a success, and they got a fad, and they sold a bunch of those enormous shoes through Foot Locker. Pump it up. It was a stupid product. It was a gimmick. They sold a lot of them. If you're in the gimmick business, so the toy industry is like this. So I got to go skiing in Telluride, one of these, this is a house on the mountain. I didn't grow up with this stuff, folks. I worked my way up into being with these kind of people. They had a house on the slopes in Telluride, and we went and stayed there because the woman who owned it was in the same business down the hall, and she had a showroom down the hall. They worked for Baby Guess Jeans. So they had that line. Her and a partner. They made a ton of money quick. Trend. Didn't last very long. It lasted a few years. Guess, and then it faded. That's how it works. Well, her husband was in the toy business. It's faster. They were masters at it. So what's the hot toy? He was in the hot toy business. And one of the hot toys they came up with was something you threw against the wall and it stuck. That bought the house in Telluride. It's a pro game. So to sit with buyers at Toys R Us, to sit with buyers at Target, Walmart, and convince them this is the hot toy, that's some serious marketing skills and business skills and production skills, and dealing with these idiotic retailers are stupid. They really are. These big retailers, they don't care. All they want is the numbers. And I say stupid because I mean dumb pipe. They're renting real estate. You get an end cap if you pay for it at Walmart. And if you play their game and strip some quality out of the product, so you get a better price, so their margins increase, they'll buy it from you. And they'll give you volume, but they're going to make you pay for it. And if you know how to play that game, you're going to make tons of money. Big real world success. This is now being done by amateurs on YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn, even Facebook, all these things. You could do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying know the game and what's going on here. Even those who win on these systems are not making money, or they're making money running a business they can't stand because they're doing copywriting, for example, for 15 clients and they're exhausted. I saw that a lot. Or they're selling courses nobody will buy for $150. And then they're like, oh, I'm making $4,000 a month. Great, I succeeded. No, you didn't. You can't even live in the United States on that anymore. You used to be able to. My first job when I went to work for my dad, I didn't want to work in the children's clothing industry. I was just parked there until I could get a real life together, I thought. I had it backwards. Um, and he paid me 3 grand a month in sample money, and I made money for that company immediately. That's how it works. Real product where you get paid for your product. Warren Buffett's been talking about this for years. He's like, I don't understand the technology business. He's right. It's a big media ad network. All these technology platforms, not Microsoft. That's a real company. Oracle's a real company. Salesforce.com's a real company. Discord's a real company. LinkedIn's a real company. They're charging for advertising now. Boost, it works. They get paid every time you boost. That means they're going to work harder on making that work well. It's not an ad network like Facebook or Google, YouTube. Um, so people are talking about being canceled. I've been canceled by all of them. I was canceled by YouTube and people are like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing is wrong with me. This started in the 90s with Google. They were delisting people. So I'm not going to go into it all. You already know. They own the platform, not you. Your product is part of their product. That's how they make money. They get free content from influencer creators and activity, so they get more eyeballs. It's linked into an ad network, and their business products are suffering because of this, because of the security issues. Because you log in on your Gmail account, they're tracking you all over the internet. That's how it works. I know how it works. I worked in the industry. It was fun. Now it's a pro game. So it's less about being canceled than just being a trend. So you're an influencer. What happens when the next one comes along? They'll dump you. Why wouldn't they? Think of Pet Rocks. So I'm old, right? So I remember Pet Rocks. It sold a ton of Pet Rocks, and then nobody cared. Mood rings. We even had mood rings when I was a kid. Remember swatches. I learned this from a business school course I took at University of Chicago. I audited a graduate school business course booth at University of Chicago, and there was no way they were going to let me into that school. I left all the math out because I couldn't figure it out. And the professor's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I learned a lot. Pet rocks, or no, swatches. You market swatches, you got a trend. You're gonna make money for 2 years, and then it's over because you're marketing it to middle school kids, basically, teenagers." Fast fashion on TikTok, same thing. Teenagers are already fatigued. They create a persona. They throw it up on TikTok. They create a lot of buzz and energy, and they get some sales. And they use influencer marketing strategies, and the kids buy it. They ships, and they're like, "This stuff sucks." Brandy Melville level, not or worse. Brandy Melville, they look at Brandy Melville, what that really is. It's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And my daughter and my wife are in DC right now. I'm staying home because I have a plumbing mess in my basement and 2 dogs, and we don't want to board them for $1,000 a week right now. And I got to work on my business. It's not the business; it's the personal stuff. It's like I'm staying home. I wish I could go because I love my cousins and I want to hang out with them, but I'm not going. But I'm here, and I'm looking at. I forgot what I was going to say. So I'm thinking about, what was I thinking about? I completely lost my train of thought. Um, Trying to keep this stuff linear as much as possible. I don't think linear. I think in like creative bursts. Um, so fast fashion is Oh yeah, Brandy Melville. Fast fashion. Did it sell? Sure. So she's in Georgetown. She wants to go to the Brandy Melville. I like, all right. I always like, it's fine. It's crap. Why? It fits her. One size, and it fits her perfectly. It's crap clothes, and it's stupid brand. He's an old guy who likes young teenagers. It's disgusting. How did he do it? Instagram. Will it collapse? Yeah, at some point, and something else will come. Um, we saw this for years. That stuff. That's a hard business. I didn't sell juniors. We sold some stuff in what's called 7 to 14, the 7 to 14 category. Those kids are really fickle. And we had some products that worked, but it's a different business than the young kids business. But that's trends too. Eventually, the brand dies and changes, or the trend ends, or the little niche you find ends. Um, you want a stable business if you're an adult, or you're a pro at playing that game. And some of these stores, there's one in LA called Fred Siegel, and they were the master. Master. It's LA. It's got to be new. They knew how to do it. Masters at it. A lot of retailers can't do that. Fast fashion retailers can do it. That's what they're doing. Um, you can play that game. You got to have an infrastructure to do it. Or you're just going to sit there for a couple years on YouTube, have your success, and it'll be over in 3 years. You'll start over again. It's not a good solid business model for someone who's like doing it. They're a coach or a consultant or an entrepreneur. It's not a good business model. You're not an influencer. That's a career path, really, not the influencer. The people who are doing it and using the influencer as a marketing vehicle to sell their products, real products, shoes or clothes. Those are real products. The influencer is not the product. They're a traffic vehicle for the real product. That's the problem. And you don't own the business. So the marketing machine crushes yesterday's news, which will be Mr. Beast now. And it's nothing to do with him being canceled or stuff he said 20 years ago. Who cares? It's really not that. It's that they'll keep them if it sells. They don't care. It's corporations. They don't. Target will stick with it unless it hurts them. Reputation wise, they don't care as long as it works and they hit their numbers. They're fine with it and they'll stick with them. But at a certain point, they're going to dump it for what's next. Long-term success comes from focus on product. I have 5 videos called More Money Now in a series, and they're overview videos, not the full thing. The full thing is not a course. It's a circle sitting around in a room talking about how to do it yourself, your way. How to succeed, make more money now with your business. I will not sell a stupid course that doesn't work. I'm not going to do it. I'm not playing that game because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It won't work long term for me, and you won't get a result. So I'm not doing it. You can hang out with us though. And it's not just me, it's a comprehensive board of directors solution with multiple business models that will allow you to make money and succeed in a permanent long term way. And the More Money Now approach is just part of it. And I put those videos in a link in the LinkedIn about section and in a post I did also on Facebook. We do not do this from LinkedIn. I had trouble logging in again. That's the security credential stuff's a nightmare. We couldn't even get our company page up because of Google, I think. Google and Chrome and just the way that's all working with LinkedIn. And LinkedIn's system's super clunky too. So this system, 4 of us. I had a call yesterday. One's an expert in IT. The other is a master in technology for B2B marketing. And Brian's amazing at anything analytical, and me, who's always dove into these things. And the 4 of us still couldn't figure it out and finish it because of the technology mess. That's how bad this stuff is right now. You need a whole team. We got the team to help you, board of directors team, people who actually know what they're doing. Who knew? Focus on product inside the marketplace. If you know what you're doing, you don't even have to be an expert. You just have to have experience, focus on your expertise and your observations. You could be out 1 year, and you could start making money, but not chasing the influencer, social selling, or become popular on Facebook thing. It's not going to work. You're just going to sound like everybody else. You need a real business model that makes you money. And you have to know how to connect with people rather than get temporary popularity. It's not about your feed being popular. That does not lead to a solid business. I just explained that. Even if you succeed, you're going to fail. Top 1%, it's a pro game. And they're paying a ton of money to win it. They got agencies, they got teams, they got staff. I'm doing this thing for $2,000 a month and less. You can do it too. You do not need a lot of money to do this stuff. You need a lot of money to win the popularity game. How to succeed without marketing is the key. Because if you play the marketing game, you have to figure it out. It's going to take a long time. You got to love it. You got to be one of them or pay. So how to make more money now is in those 5 videos. I can't go through it all. Um, you have to connect with people rather than go after temporary popularity. So the more money now approach, it's 5 videos. Get started today. Let the professionals win the influencer game. Though, or those who have real influence who already succeeded. When I was doing this for a couple of years, I'm like, why am I not winning at this better? And I was doing okay with it. And I'm like, I think I got a real business here for a couple of years. And then I realized that this isn't for me the way I'm doing it. I got to go further and do this differently and innovate in the space rather than copy people because I'd already exhausted all of these things. And I'm like, oh, I know what this is now. In other words, the online economy. And I was using principles from real business in the online economy, which is turning into real business. Um, and you can learn how to use it. So we put together this, I was calling it the Entrepreneur Content Platform. And we're going to have an AI agentic process system and use some generative AI too for efficiency. If you want to be an original creator, you're not going to use that stuff. But the key is tuning your model. And then you can use that stuff and be an original creator if you like it. I don't. Brian loves it. Uh, we're going to run a weekly session on not how to learn AI. Nobody wants to learn it. If you're a data scientist, you want to learn how, if you're an IT person, you want to learn how to process person, you want to learn AI. If the rest of us, we just want to use it. I don't want to even learn how to query it. You won't have to. You won't have to. We're going to help you do that. And we'll have the platform. Same with content, putting a show together. You won't have to. We already know how to do it. We'll just do it with you. And there's different models to do it. It won't be expensive because when you build a company with a real platform, it's not expensive, but it takes longer. This is the idea. People talk about this stuff all the time. And I'm like, you're not doing it though. You're just saying it. It's overnight success takes a long time. Be yourself. Go your own way. You're not doing it though. I don't see it. What are you actually doing? That's what's real. If you're going to build an infrastructure, it takes a while and you can't launch I'm building it in public. I like the build it in public strategy. And I like the models Microsoft used years ago for them, not for me on the other side of it with Vista and some of the products that didn't work. But I get why they did it. They had to because the industry was starting to speed up. So they couldn't use these waterfall development methods anymore and take forever to get the product out in the market. You build it inside the market. That's what they were doing. It's smart. It creates quality problems, but it's smart. And you get feedback from the market. And it's better to do that in a beta pilot model and then inner circle, left side of what's called the chasm of fast followers and innovators. Bring those people in. That's what we're doing. We're bringing those people in first by attracting them, by just being honest about what we're doing. It works. And then we go out in the market is a team. It's not a posting pod. I did that in 2019, 2020, posting pod stuff. That's beginner stuff. It's useful. Learn how to use it. I had a high quality one too. It was like, don't comment unless you care, but they commented anyways. And then some people bonded together and did it right. And it's called supporting each other. Support each other and make it real. That works. So check out the 5 videos and get started. And if you can succeed from them, you don't need us. Most people won't. You're going to need us. What you're going to need is to be in a circle in a room. People are copying my Claim Your Guest Pass. I saw Donald Miller copied it, Amy Porterfield, that whole thing, and then Metal copied it. I think. I don't know. Maybe I copied it from them. It doesn't make any difference. It's just an idea. But I thought of it a year ago and started using it. So I can prove it 8 months ago. We had that up there. Claim your guest pass. That's it. And unlike what they're doing, you're not in the audience. Now, Metal's different. Metal's a real community for men. But I'm talking about the marketing Donald Miller stuff with the celebrities. That's you're just sitting in the audience. They're making all the money. I'm saying you sit in a circle. You sit in a circle and you talk about what's going on with you. And we're not going to give you advice or our opinions. We're going to help you. It's that simple, really. But the most challenging thing that I feel is people are so inundated in this belief system it's called hypnotic rhythm. Napoleon Hill called it hypnotic rhythm. Market, 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 persuade, persuade, persuade. And if you don't get out of that hypnotic rhythm, you're going to end up like Mr. Beast, but with never having made any money to begin with.